This is the Varsity Sports Show on ESPN 97.5 and 92.5.
Your home for youth, high school, college sports, and you. Empowering education and enabling dreams.
Now here's your host, Vince D'Alicio.
Good morning and welcome to the Varsity Sports Show on ESPN 97.5, 92.5 Houston. My name is Vince D'Alicio, and so excited, so happy to bring you another Varsity Sports Show on a beautiful Sunday morning. We have an incredible show for you. We're not going to disappoint. As you know, our show is dedicated to all the great things happening in the Houston area. Our very own Sammy Khalaf will bring you a college spring football report from the University of Houston. In the Intern Spotlight feature, we'll feature our very own Bradley Clark out of Texas Southern University. He'll talk a little bit about himself and how he got into journalism. In our Vype Media report, Matt Malatesta breaks down Texas high school softball. Jason Goldie will talk a little University of Houston baseball and top 5 players. Chris Severan will give you his public school sports report and talk a little baseball as well. Bradley Clark will bring you a report on Houston Community College sports. Alissa Firestone will talk Earth Day events going on in the Houston area today. Koby Braunstein will talk some spring high school football. And, of course, Seth Kordich out of the University of Nevada, Las Vegas, will bring you a report on Texas A&M track and field. In coaching news, we're very privileged to sit down with Pearland Oilers baseball coach David Rogers. All that and much more on the Varsity Sports Show. Don't go anywhere.
Good morning, Houston. This is Alissa Firestone from Arizona State University reporting with the Varsity Sports Show, here to talk about some of the events happening in the city this weekend in honor of Earth Day. Starting off with today's events, there will be a celebration at Sawyer Yards happening until 4 p.m., providing the opportunity to tour artist studios and recent exhibitions from the Houston Botanical Garden and Cornelius Nursery. Also until 4, Evelyn's Park is having an Earth Day celebration consisting of a picnic in the park with food trucks, educational vendors, crafts, and much more. Next, Discovery Green will be hosting an Earth Day celebration and Waterworks Festival until 5 with live music, interactive exhibits, educational artists, and much more. Moving into tomorrow's events, the Healthy Port Communities Coalition is having its first annual Earth Day event at Hill-to-Go Park from 11 a.m. until 4 with live music, local vendors, and food. The Energy Corridor District is also holding a celebration until 4, taking place at Terry Hershey Park with live music, arts and crafts, food, and more. Lastly, moving later into the evening, there will be a celebration at Old Town Harrisburg from 3 to 7 p.m. featuring live performances, local artists, and vendors. More information about these events can be found on each of the places hosting websites. Thanks for listening. Hope everyone has a great Earth Day no matter how you end up celebrating it. I have been Alissa Firestone reporting with Varsity Sports.
Hi, my name is Christopher Severan, and you're listening to the Varsity Sports Show. As Houston baseball continues to heat up, we are seeing high-level competitions as many teams are preparing for a title shot. First, let's talk about the matchup between the number 1 ranked team in the city, Tombow, versus the number 3 ranked team, Magnolia, as Tombow dominated in a blowout win of 14-3, extending their own winning streak to 14 while giving Tombow his first loss in 2 games. This was a highly anticipated matchup because both teams are ranked so high up in the rankings. Next, let's talk about St. Paris Panthers, who also had a shutout win in their last matchup against Houston Christian. Bounce back and upset them, or will they continue to steamroll opponents? Can Magnolia, the 3rd-ranked team, bounce back and keep their high ranking? Only time will tell. My name is Christopher Severan, and you're listening to the Varsity Sports Show.
Hello everyone, this is Sammy Khalaf with the Walter Cronkite School of Journalism and Mass Communication at Arizona State University reporting for the Varsity Sports Show. Today's story will feature a spring football report for the University of Houston. The Cougars ended their version of spring training with a scrimmage game on Saturday at the Carl Lewis International Complex on campus. The Cougars continue to impress many people as they prepare for their second season in the Big 12. Houston will face teams such as Texas Christian University, TCU, the University of Oklahoma, the University of Utah, etc. Chiron.com highlighted the Cougars' defense during the scrimmage, spotlighting A.J. Halsey, Jalen Emery, and Maurice Williams II as they made big plays. Willie Fritz brought in former Tulane colleague Shyle Wood for their defensive coordinator position in January, so it's no wonder why Houston's defense is showing promise. The Cougars also tested a new quarterback named Zion Chris. The transfer from the University of Louisiana at Lafayette threw for 11 touchdowns and 5 interceptions last season with his former team before transferring to Houston this season. Starting quarterback Donovan Smith did not participate in Saturday's scrimmage as he recovers from a shoulder injury. Smith is expected to be ready for the fall. The senior who transferred from Texas Tech threw for 2,801 yards, 22 touchdowns, and 13 interceptions last season, according to ESPN.com. Saturday's debut marked the debut of Willie Fritz. Fritz became the 16th head coach in Cougars history in December 2023. Fritz enters his first season as Houston's head coach with a 208-116 record. He previously coached Tulane University for 7 seasons. The Cougars look to continue showcasing themselves as a force to be reckoned with this upcoming season. Their spring training has shown that there is something so special about this team. This is Sammy Khalaf signing off.
What's up, everybody? It's Seth Kordich reporting out of the University of Nevada, Las Vegas for the Varsity Sports Show. And this week we're talking about Texas A&M track and field. The Aggies have been moving fast, jumping hard, and throwing like there's no tomorrow. This past week, April 11th and April 13th, the Aggies had 2 meets, the Byron Clay Invitational and then the Tom Jones Memorial Meet in Gainesville, Florida. The Aggies set 4 personal best records in the second day alone at the Byron Clay Invitational. Kennedy Fontenot, Jonathan Chung, and Victor Kibiego all had personal bests in the 5,000-meter event, according to Sam Thorin, Athletic Communications for Texas A&M. Victor and Kennedy both put themselves in the top 5 all-time record book for Texas A&M school history, with their times of 13 minutes, 45 seconds, and 8 tenths for Victor, and 16 minutes, 19 seconds, and 4 tenths for Kennedy. Their last personal best was definitely not least, as Avery Perkins in the 800-meter event ran 2 minutes and 10 seconds. The Aggie continued to scratch the record book at the Tom Jones Memorial Meet, with Carly Weiser taking home second in the shot put event, throwing a personal best of 52 feet 8 inches, putting her second all-time for the Aggies and 7th among freshmen across the entire nation. The Texas A&M track and field team are ranked first for the men's and second for the women's through week 4, according to the NCAA. The Aggies will continue to keep breaking records and setting new ones as they host the alumni muster for the next home meet today, April 20th. Reporting out of the University of Nevada, Las Vegas for the Varsity Sports Show, I'm Seth Kordich, and I'll see you next time.
Hey there, my name is Bradley Clark, reporting from Texas Southern University, and today I wanted to highlight a special event happening at one of Houston's very own JUCO schools. If you're a student at Houston Community College that loves to work out but feels burnt out on doing the same routine every day, don't worry. The school's recreational sports department has got you covered. On April 25th from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m., the Houston Community College's recreational sports department is holding their second annual field day at their Missouri City location. This event will take place on the rear lawn, where they will hold relay races, sack races, and a tug-of-war matchup, just to list off a few of their planned activities. Any student who attends Houston Community College is more than welcome to join in on the fun. The goal of this event as a whole is to motivate students and keep them engaged with their school, on top of breaking the mold for anyone who's tired of doing their same old workout routines. If you'd like to register for this event, there's a scannable QR code on the flyers for this event that can be found across your campus or on the Recreational Sports Department's Instagram page, at HCC Rec Sports. Once again, if you'd like to register for the field day, there's a scannable QR code on flyers for the event that you can find across your campus or through the Recreational Sports Department's Instagram page, at HCC _rec sports. They certainly hope to see you there. Reporting from the campus of Texas Southern University here in the heart of Houston, Texas, Bradley Clark, the Varsity Sports Show.
Big thank you once again. Alissa Firestone talking some Earth Day events this weekend. Chris Severan on baseball in the community. Sammy Khalaf talking a little spring football from the University of Houston. Seth Kordich, Texas A&M track and field, and Bradley Clark talking some community college sports news. We cover it all here on the Varsity Sports Show, and what you'll find, and we mean it, we really stress wanting to spotlight all the good things happening in the community. And we are grateful, and we've forged some strategic partnerships here in the community and of some folks that have a strong knowledge base of all the good things happening here, and some very good coaches that are lending their time and talents to not only to the community and making this a better place, but also sharing their knowledge with us to pass along to you. One such coach, Coach David Rogers, out of Pearland High School, the Oilers. He'll be joining us talking a little baseball, talk about his team, his season, and his keys to success when we come back from the break here on the Varsity Sports Show on ESPN 97.5, 92.5 Houston. Go Varsity.
You're listening to ESPN 97.5.
Sunday Night Baseball on ESPN Radio.
Wow! The other way for Corey Seager. That's some kind of power.
Corey Seager and the Texas Rangers head to Atlanta for an interleague showdown against Ronald Acuna Jr. and the NL East leading Braves.
Ronald Acuna Jr. with a wow!
Game coverage begins today at 5 on ESPN 97.5 and 92.5.
Hi, this is Harold Gunn.
And this is Bill Olson. Texas Outdoor News is the longest-running, most award-winning outdoor radio show in the state for a lot of good reasons.
We bring you the latest news and information about hunting and fishing across our great state and beyond.
And our guests are who's who from industry, government, and the field.
Texas Outdoor News is brought to you by Ford Trucks and your best in Texas Ford dealers. Join us Saturday mornings at 6, Sunday at 7 on ESPN 97.5.
Tired of costly pothole repairs? What if you could build a stronger road or parking lot that is less expensive to construct, 75% cheaper to maintain, and diverts a huge number of end-of-life tires from your local landfill? Sound too good to be true? Check out Third Rock Renewable's sustainable solution called Mechanical Concrete and end your pothole problems for good. Call 713-305-0507. That's 713-305-0507 or visit thirdrockrenewables.com for more details.
The time has come. Names you know, champions you've cheered. Join the game's legends as they return to the Woodlands. The Insperity Invitational presented by United Healthcare at the Woodlands Country Club, April 29th through May 5th. Come watch as Stephen Alker defends his title against a field that includes Els, Goosen, Daly, Montgomery, and Harrington. Free admission courtesy of Insperity, Wood Forest National Bank, and Hewlett-Packard Enterprise. Visit InsperityInvitational.com. Be there.
Innovation has always been the hallmark of Pro Dunk basketball goals. Their latest invention is a game changer. Jeremy Branham here. Pro Dunk goals have been adjustable for years, allowing you to raise and lower the height of your goal, but now you can use their patent-pending Lightning Adjust feature to change the height 10 times faster. It's so easy and fun to do. Check out the new Lightning Adjust feature at ProDunk.com. The best basketball goals on the planet. ProDunk.com.
Now back to the Varsity Sports Show with Vince D'Alicio
on ESPN 97.5 and 92.5.
Time now for
I Want Winners
Coaching News.
All right, guys, welcome to the Coaches Spotlight here on the Varsity Sports Show. And we've got another good one this week. From Pearland High School, we are featuring Coach David Rogers, who is joining us this morning. We are very privileged and honored to be featuring him as he's right smack dab in the middle of an exciting baseball season for his squad. And we're going to go ahead and welcome him to the show. Coach Rogers, thanks so much for joining us here on the Varsity Sports Show.
Man, thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it. It's an honor.
Well, it's an honor for us to have you, Coach. You've done some amazing things at Pearland, particularly this season. You're leading the district, and overall, your numbers are quite numerous as we're getting ready to wind down the season. Aside from the wins and losses, how would you say that the season has gone for you?
Well, it's a different year than last year. However, it's kind of the same journey. And what I really mean by that is last year we really took off, we bonded together and we made such a long playoff run. And at the conclusion of last year, we lost some key players. They graduated, went on to play college baseball, yet we didn't lose our program. And really, aside from that, we didn't lose our identity. We had a lot of kids who returned and kept the same identity that we had last year. We had a catcher who caught every other game. We had a starting third baseman who moved to short, and we returned the bulk of our pitching staff. Even though we graduated quite a few players, we still kept the same identity and still had a fair amount of kids returning to keep the culture, to keep the belief, identity the same. And that's been one of our, if not the main key to our success this year. As you build a program over time, and you've been doing this for a good number of years now, at a couple of different schools, how important is it to develop the lower levels? Oh, we get a lot of we got a great feeder program, first of all, in the Little League that's here in Pearland. We have a lot of great volunteers, and it's a very large Little League. And we get players who can actually play baseball that come into, to our high school from the, ninth grade year on. And for them to be a part of our program at such a young age is paramount to us in the way that we play the game. We actually try to play baseball where they learn all phases of the game. They're not rushed. And that gives them time to get their feet wet in high school baseball. That gives them time to feel comfortable within the way that we structure our program. And by the time that they're either completing their year, or for those select few who are able to play, at the varsity level more, when they turn to become a junior, they're accustomed to what we do. They're accustomed to the high school game, the speed that it is. And, for us, being successful at the lower levels has just been a huge mark to our success. Well, you mentioned the lower levels and getting some solid fundamental baseball players by the time they get to you. By the time that they leave you, what additional skill sets, both physically and mentally, do you feel like your kids, have been a common denominator of being a Pearland High School baseball player? Well, I think really that the way that we play the game, the kids that leave here are really well-rounded baseball players. They know how to swing the bat. They know how to hit to all fields. They're very schooled in bunting the baseball. We have a large notoriety of being able to steal bases. Ever since I've been there, we've stole over 100 bags a year on the varsity. So we're an aggressive team. We put pressure on the other team's defense, and talking with college baseball coaches around the area, that's the one thing that they want is they want players who can play the game at different levels, where they don't have to go back and start doing a lot of teaching for kids in their program, that they know that they're going to get a kid who knows how to play the game and is pretty well schooled in baseball in general. Has your staff been together for a good number of years, or do you get does it serve as a quote unquote feeder program for young guys wanting to get involved with coaching and then with the idea of moving on? Well, my number one assistant, Kevin Macias, has been with me since I came to Pearland, which is 5 years ago. He's a great coach, great young coach, and really that helps me out a lot for the simple reason I speak to kids through the area of baseball, and believe it or not, even though he's much younger than I am, we're on the same page 99% of the time. Yet he can speak it to some of our younger kids in a different language, meaning he's more up to date in the terminology they use. He's more up to date in the social media aspect that they love to post and love to advertise and market themselves with. So we can attack it from both ways. And, without him, our program, I think would still be successful. Just due to the talent that we have, but we're able to talk and communicate with the kids from different language, different terminologies.
Joined on the line by Pearland Oilers varsity baseball coach David Rogers here on the Varsity Sports Show. Coach Rogers, wanted to talk to you a little bit about the aha moment during the season where you realized, you know what, this is one thing we do really good. At what point in the season did that happen? Did it happen early? Has it happened yet?
2 moments this year, and it was really an identical moment last year. The first moment last year was the same first moment this year, and we've been very, very fortunate enough to where we've been able to attend in week 2 the high school baseball tournament in Dallas. And we played some of the state's best teams in that tournament. And we went up and we played some of the most aggressive, some of the most difficult talent. And we came away with a winning record. We won 5 games last year in it. We won 4 games in it this year. And we came back being away from our community, having to be in a hotel together, the kids bound together. And we went back this year, and it really gave us the same bonding effect. We played some of the state's best teams there, and it really pulled our kids together. And that was the first time that we saw it this year. They started bonding together. They had to be in the hotel rooms together. They had to follow a little bit of a regiment. They played teams that they weren't familiar with. And that was the moment that we said, once again, hey, we have a chance because we're playing some of the state's best teams. The second moment this year was actually Tuesday night. We were playing straight Jesuit. And for the first time since Dallas, we're 0-0 after 4 innings, and they're throwing their best shot at us. They're giving us, a great run. And in the bottom of the 5th, we scored 3. And it was the first time that our kids were tested and pushed back against, for that long of a time. And it was really, again, another mark that we didn't panic. We stayed, to what, we do best. We pitched extremely well, and we scored 3 in the bottom of the 5th and held on and won the game 3-0.
Coach, what advice can you pass along to coaches that, for lack of a better way of saying this, that want to be you, that want to sit where you're sitting, that want to have success, that want to do it the right way?
Well, I don't know if anybody wants to be me for the simple reason that you got to do it your way. For people who know me, I tell them this story all the time. I umpired college baseball at the highest level for 26 years.
Wow.
And I worked the College World Series twice. And what I got out of that from a translation to the coaching world was, in Omaha, there are 8 teams. That is 8 different personalities, 8 different styles of baseball, 8 different ways to do things, 8 different ways to coach things, and they're all successful, but not a one of them did it the exact same way. To translate that into high school baseball is you still got to be true to your values. You still got to understand the type of players that you have, because you're not recruiting them. They're your neighborhood, or so to speak, your zoned area kids. And you got to have belief that your system will work with the group of kids that you have, because it's a fact. You look at it across the state of Texas, the top 10, the top 20 are high school baseball programs, but we all don't necessarily do it the same way. We might have a lot of similarities, but we still, do it differently, and we all have our own personality. So it's being true to yourself and understanding that, that you can do things differently and still get, to the goals that you want to achieve.
Well, there you have it. Coach David Rogers, Pearland Oilers, varsity baseball coach. Coach, thanks again for joining us here on the Varsity Sports Show. Good luck as you prep for the postseason to you and your squad. We'll talk to you soon.
Man, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
ESPN 97.5.
Cancer affects all of us. Today alone, 5,370 people in the United States will be diagnosed with cancer. That's why Stand Up to Cancer funds and develops the newest and most promising cancer treatments to help patients today. Stand Up to Cancer wants to provide you with every opportunity to join in this mission. By donating your home, land, or commercial property, you can help Stand Up to Cancer fund innovative cancer research. Donating eases the stress associated with selling a home and can also help lead to the next breakthrough in cancer prevention, diagnosis, and treatment. Stand Up to Cancer makes the process easy, and it may be tax deductible. It will take all of us standing up together to put an end to cancer as we know it. Help us save lives right now. Your home or property could hold the key to the next breakthrough in cancer research. Visit standuptocancer.org/giveproperty to learn more.
Not to brag, but Progressive's Name Your Price tool is mankind's greatest tool ever. Even better than the wheel. Sure, without the wheel, we wouldn't have modern transportation or funny videos of dogs riding skateboards. But without the Name Your Price tool, we wouldn't have easy access to auto insurance options based on our budget. And while cars do need wheels, they also need insurance. And insurance never goes flat. Learn more about the greatest tool ever, the Name Your Price tool at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law. Not available in all states.
Now your ideas don't have to wait. Now they have everything they need to come to life. Dell Technologies and Intel are creating technology that loves ideas, loves expanding your business, evolving your passions. We push what technology can do, so great ideas can happen right now. Find out how to bring your ideas to life at Dell.com. Welcome to Now.
Hi, this is Sean with Greenlight Offer, and I buy houses cash. If you own a house and want to sell it fast at a fair price, I'm your guy. Call me at 832-779-4000. I can pay cash and close in as little as 3 days. I buy houses in any condition, any price range, and any location in the Houston area. I'm a local real estate investor who buys several houses a month, and I want to buy more. I buy inherited houses, vacant houses, behind in payment houses. I even buy my tenant won't pay me the rent houses. Do you own a house that is trash and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? That's fantastic, because I love buying junk houses too. Skip all the hassle and headache of listing, dealing with agents, showings, and who knows what else. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, give me a call today. Sean at Greenlight Offer, buying houses. Call me at 832-779-4000. That's 832-779-4000. Call for Sean with Greenlight Offer, and I'll get your Greenlight number on your house today. Woo!
It's time for the Vype Sports Report with Vype Media's Matt Malatesta on the Varsity Sports Show.
All right, guys, it is that time for the Vype Media Report here on the Varsity Sports Show, joined by our very own Matt Malatesta from Vype. As you know, Matt's been around, well, I don't want to age the guy, but the guy's been around for a long time, and he is the preeminent expert on high school athletics. So, Matt, how do I do that without insulting you?
I'm not insulted at all. I got some gray hair to go along with it, but hey, man, The guru of high school sports in the city of Houston. It's got a good ring to it.
There you go. Okay, guru of high school sports in the city of Houston. All right. So today, as promised from last week's segment, today we are going to talk a little high school softball here in the area. And Matt, you want to run through maybe your top three, and then we can transition, talk a little bit about some top players in the area.
Absolutely. At the Class 6A level, the public school level, I'm telling you, Vince, this team they should fit for the rings right now.
Wow.
The Katy Tigers are so good. They're 31-1. They're undefeated in district. They're loaded with Division I players. They've got a tremendous coach in Khalaf, and they've won it before. You know, sometimes when teams get there, the lights are a little bit too bright, but they've won 3 state championships before. And they just kind of got that swag, and they're supposed to win. And iron sharpens iron over there at Katy High School. They have a legendary football team. Their baseball team is good. So the expectations are always high at a place like Katy. Number 2 are the Pearland Oilers. The Pearland Oilers won the state championship last year. They lost a lot, however. But with a program like that, they always are rebuilding. They're always waiting for the kids that are the underclassmen. They have an expectation to meet, and they come prepared and ready to play varsity softball. They're our number 2 team in Class 6A. And then you go way up north to Oak Ridge High School. Oak Ridge is in the Conroe ISD district.
Sure.
28-4. They are always overshadowed by the Woodlands, okay? This year, it's all about Oak Ridge. Tremendous pitching, hitting, very balanced team. And the Bridgeland Bears coming out of Cy-Fair, Sydney Jackson, a stud pitcher. She's going to Syracuse. So that's the big girls, right? That's a 6A. That's a 6A version. The 5A version, Vince, I'm telling you, there's 2 teams that are just so stellar. Barbers Hill won a state championship 3 years ago.
Wow.
The last 2 years, Lake Creek has won the state championship. Lake Creek has been the national team of the year in those 2 seasons. Not the local team of the year, not the state team of the year, the national team of the year by USA Today,
So,
Max Preps.
Let me ask you this, Matt. So in order to be recognized as the national team of the year, does this involve a lot of tournament play out of state? Does it involve just how high the individual players are ranked? How is that determined? Because that's a lot.
Well, high school sports, especially softball, and you can say football, but it's all based in Texas. The best teams are in Texas. The best club teams are in Texas. The best talents in Texas. All the kids that are recruited that you see playing on ESPN and ESPNU and the SEC network, they're all from Texas, right? As it relates to softball. So they don't really play out of state. They're just playing elite competition in state, from Houston to Dallas to Austin to San Antonio. Even Southeast Texas has some really, really good teams as it relates to softball, but it all builds from the select softball that is played here in the city of Houston. It's incredible. So I get what you're saying. It's like, it's this mythical national champion.
Right.
If you look at Lake Creek, last year they had the national female Gatorade Player of the Year in Ava Brown. She's a star at Florida right now. And Maddie McKee, their shortstop, she starts at LSU, who's a top 5 team in the country. So these are just kind of thoroughbreds as it relates to softball in the country. Barbers Hill is ranked above them. Sophia Simpson, she's a starting pitcher at University of Texas. You have a starting pitcher at Louisiana Lafayette. They're just loaded with talent. And then if you want to talk private school,
sure,
Episcopal is loaded. Episcopal every year wins the SBC. They have super talented Allie Williams. Every time she probably hit 15 to 20 home runs this year. She's headed to New Mexico. St. Agnes comes in at number 2. And FBCA down on the way west side, the FBCA Eagles are number 3. And that's kind of a look around the world of softball. Probably 80% of the state championships that are won in softball come through the city of Houston.
Wow. Do you see are there any underdogs knocking on the door that could potentially make some noise?
Let's talk 6A. Conroe High School is a young team with uber talent. Alissa Sneed, she's their shortstop. She's the straw that stirs the drink. She's already committed to University of Texas. She was committed to UT as a freshman. She's a special player that really gets that team going, and they're really, really good. You've got a team like Angleton in the 5A division, another really solid team that can get hot. And, you just need a little pitching and some very timely hitting to excel and get deep in the postseason. You got Langham Creek, Kingwood Mustangs, and the Alvin Yellow Jackets in that 6A division also that are going to make some noise in Region 3.
Matt Malatesta from Vype Media with the Vype report here on the Varsity Sports Show, and talking a little softball this week. And Matt, you had mentioned Episcopal in private schools. Anybody else that's knocking on the door on the private school side? I know we've got some good ones out there.
Yeah, St. Agnes is an all-girls school here in the city of Houston, and they're a squad that can, they can really challenge. They play at the highest level of what's called TAPS. So they play the highest level, and they're really good. They're going to go deep into the TAPS tournament. And FBCA is the 5A rep for the city of Houston coming out of that TAPS area. Also really talented. They've won a couple state championships before as well.
What about coaches? Coaches of the year. Coaches oftentimes don't get enough credit. Obviously, it's the product that goes on the field, but coaches have so much in the way of responsibilities in promoting their programs, as well as drawing college recruiters to come on over. Do you see any front runners for Coach of the Year honors?
Yeah. From Katy, you have Callum Hack. Callum Hack is a great story, right? He's coached at 5 different high major universities. So, he bounced around. He was at Kentucky. He was at Texas and Texas State. He has bounced around the coaching ranks as head coaching. And then he wanted to kind of settle and have a family, and he landed in Katy, and he's been there for a couple of decades now. But his son was a quarterback that played at ULL in football, and Matty Hack started Arizona. So he is kind of the preeminent coach in the area as it relates to right now. And he's a developer of talent, and he knows how to manage college players on a high school team because he coached so much in the college game. And he's got a superstar right now. Her name is Cameron Harrison. Cameron Harrison is that alpha of alphas in the city of Houston.
Wow. You
don't want to face her at the plate when she's pitching, and you don't want to face her when she's hitting. She's committed to University of Arkansas. She's a USA national player that plays for the national team. She is a stud, and she's likely going to be the player of the year in the city of Houston, followed by Ella McDowell. Ella McDowell, her dad is the head coach for football for Grand Oaks. She's got a football mentality on the softball field. She's another USA national player. She plays at Foster High School. She's also headed to University of Arkansas. So those two, Cameron Harrison and Ella McDowell, are two of the top players in the country that probably live 5 miles away from each other, both going to the University of Arkansas.
Okay, final question, Matt. In terms of colleges coming in and recruiting softball players, give me one that is stellar every single year that picks up the most recruits, and one that is really making a push now.
Man, that's a great question. Okay. The head coach at LSU used to be the assistant coach at University of Houston. She has 4 starters from this greater Houston area that start for her on a team that's in the top 10 in the national polls as it relates to NCAA baseball. Beth Torino really does a great job because she's been here.
Yeah.
She's been here. She's a national brand, and they're in oftentimes, they're in the College World Series playoffs, and they're a power in the SEC. But Arkansas is coming. Arkansas is kids. That's just 2 of the top, but they probably got 4 or 5 other girls that are coming from other programs in the city of Houston, and they are coming for blood. Finally, Florida also is doing a tremendous job.
Wow.
So she's going to Florida. And, of course, Ava Brown, the National Gatorade Player of the Year from Lake Creek, is going to be a star and is a starter right now at University of Florida.
Amazing. Matt Malatesta from Vype Media joining us every week to break down high school sports. Next week, we're going to talk a little track and field. Matt, thanks so much again. Safe travels, and we'll talk to you next week.
Okay. Hey, look forward to it. Thanks, Vince.
When we come back from the break, more from our amazing intern team, and we'll also do a little intern spotlight from one of our very own out of Texas Southern University, Bradley Clark. We'll be back here on the Varsity Sports Show, ESPN 97.5, 92.5, Houston. Go Varsity.
Hey, this is Jason Goldie from the Varsity Sports Show. Intern Spotlight is coming up next.
ESPN 97.5.
Sunday Night Baseball on ESPN Radio.
Wow! The other way for Corey Seager. That's some kind of power.
Corey Seager and the Texas Rangers head to Atlanta for an interleague showdown against Ronald Acuna Jr. and the NL East leading Braves.
Ronald Acuna Jr. with a wow!
Game coverage begins today at 5 on ESPN 97.5 and 92.5.
Property taxes stink. And most of the time, the government is going to overestimate the value of your home, and you lose money because of it. You have to fight them. But they're professionals. You're not. That's why Ownwell is here to fight for you. And they win. 86% of Ownwell's customers save on their property taxes. Hundreds of thousands of happy customers. 5-star reviews. Ownwell handles everything from start to finish and delivers top results with an average savings of $1,148. Local tax experts backed by cutting-edge technology, best-in-class customer support help you save money every year. No upfront costs, savings, or free guarantee. If you don't save, you don't pay. Save money on your property taxes with Ownwell. Sign up in less than 3 minutes and start your protest today at ownwell.com. That's OWNWELL.com.
Your home for the Sugarland Space Cowboys is ESPN 92.5. Listen to every hit, pitch, and big play of the 2024 season right here on ESPN 92.5.
Sunday Night Baseball on ESPN Radio.
Wow! The other way for Corey Seager. That's some kind of power.
Corey Seager and the Texas Rangers head to Atlanta for an interleague showdown against Ronald Acuna Jr. and the NL East leading Braves.
Ronald Acuna Jr. with a wow!
Game coverage begins today at 5 on ESPN 97.5 and 92.5.
Hey guys, Lance Erline here. You guys know I love Underdog Fantasy. It's the best way. It's the fan favorite way to play fantasy sports. The regular basketball season is coming up to an end, and you know what that means. NBA playoffs are here. You can get on the action through Underdog Fantasy's NBA Pick'em. It's so easy. You go pick between 2 and 5 players. They have a series of statistics listed. So many to choose from a wide variety of players. You mix and match your higher than or your lower than on the statistics they have listed, and you can win up to 100 times your original play. But you got to play to win. Use promo code Lance when you download the app, and they're going to match your first deposit up to $100. But this is a chance for you to play between 2 and 5 players, watch the game, but play along with the game and win real money. It's completely legal here in the state of Texas. Make sure you use the promo code Lance to double your initial deposit up to $100. Must be 18 or older and present in the state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms and conditions apply. Concerned with your gambling? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or go to ncpgambling.org.
You're going on a trip, but where are you going to stay? How much will it cost? Well, it'll cost less by booking on besthotelrates.com. Go to besthotelrates.com, enter your email address, and start shopping for your next hotel room. Besthotelrates.com, it's in the name.
You're listening to the Varsity Sports Show
on ESPN 97.5 and 92.5.
Now back to your host, Vince D'Alicio.
The Varsity Sports Show presents Intern Spotlight.
All right, guys, time for the Intern Spotlight. Joining us today, we have a local student out of Texas Southern University. His name is Bradley Clark. Been working with us all semester long, producing some great stories. He's an exceptional storyteller and has a solid future in this business. So we'll bring on Bradley. Bradley, welcome to the Varsity Sports Show. Feels kind of weird saying that because you've been a part of our program all semester long, but in a different capacity. So how are you doing, sir?
I'm doing good. Just happy to be, working with y'all for another week. About to graduate in a couple of weeks now. I mean, it's very slow, but it's been fun.
Let's talk about the Houston area in particular because it is in your backyard and you're a student right there at Texas Southern. What are some things that you've covered? Because you've done some amazing stories on, first of all, on your own university, but also in and around the Houston community. What are some things you've been able to uncover there?
I would say the main thing I've uncovered just doing stories around Houston so far is really just the diversity here, A, and then B, I'd say specifically at Texas Southern University, I've been able to learn more about both athletes and media members around here that are doing some awesome stuff that, like I said, if I wasn't here in this position, I mean, they wouldn't get a voice. But because I'm working for, the Varsity Sports Show and I'm doing this, I've been able to give them a voice. So I would say, like, all my stories, I can't even tell you one, just every story that gets to give a new student or athlete here in Houston a voice. I mean, that's honestly just a huge honor for me. I'm just happy to do it.
What's interesting is that the Division I is glamorized to the nth degree. It's where everybody talks about wanting to be. And Texas Southern being an HBCU and you being on campus there, you noticed some things that you've been able to spotlight specific toward the haves and the have-nots, and one particular week you did an interesting piece on just that. What were you able to find out?
Man, for that story, it was like I was able to highlight one of our students named Josh Moloch, shout out to if he's listening to this, and how we got to go to the Super Bowl. And I discovered that at a time when, we were really starting to feel the effects of legislation that, was giving money out to different more predominantly white schools around Houston. But I found in that story that even though, at times HBCUs can struggle with funding or getting spotlight, we still have students who are like very capable of doing incredible things and going out and like making an incredible impact.
We all have role models in sports. It's real easy. You watch a sporting event and you see someone kind of take control of the game. For me, growing up, I was really into Joe Montana was a big role model of mine, and Michael Jordan. Yes. But in journalism, it's a little different. And we tend to look at people maybe that stand out from the pack, maybe longevity. Do you have any one particular role model in sports journalism?
That's a good question. Man, I would say one of my biggest role models in sports journalism, I'd say I have multiple. I'd say on the social media side, it would have to be Adrian Wojnarowski because of how he's the main dude that people look towards for information. I want to be like that one day. I want to be like the main source people come to. Something big in sports happens, I'd say he's the biggest one I look at. I would also say Stephen A. Smith too because of how long he's been in the industry. I want to say over 20 years he's been doing this, if not longer than that. He started off in the newspaper industry. Now he's the main face of ESPN. He's also a huge, black inspiration to me. I look to him a lot. And then I'd even say Pat McAfee's a huge inspiration to me because he started off, doing a podcast on YouTube for a couple of years after he got, after he left the NFL.
If you were to give a recommendation to students or some insight that maybe to consider an internship like what we do here at the Varsity Sports Show, what would you tell them?
Man, I think you can agree on this too. The number one thing I would say is meet your dang deadlines. That's for this industry, for any industry, especially entertainment, news reporting. I would say main thing for anyone who's gonna get into this, anyone who's new to it, is meet your deadlines. Because it's a team effort, it's a team sport.
All right, he's Bradley Clark. He's a student at Texas Southern University in Houston, and he's a member of the Varsity Sports Show team. Bradley, thanks so much. Wish you all the luck, and we're going to finish strong here the next few weeks.
Let's go for it.
This is Jason Goldie from the Cronkite School of Journalism at Arizona State University, reporting for the Varsity Sports Show. College baseball is in full swing around the country, and the MLB draft is coming up in a few months. The University of Houston, with a roughly even overall win-loss record, is hovering around last place in the Big 12. But there's still a lot of baseball left to play this season. A number of Houston ballplayers have the potential of making a difference and turning it around. Here are my 5 favorites. First, we have utility player Justin Murray, a senior from Charlotte, North Carolina. This is Murray's second season with Houston after transferring from Dartmouth. Following the game against Southern last Tuesday, he leads the Cougars with both 31 runs and 45 hits. Next is catcher Jonathan French, who leads the team with 9 home runs. French is a redshirt senior from Lilburn, Georgia. This is his first year with the Cougars after 1 year with South Carolina and 3 with Clemson. Next up is infielder Harold Call. Call is also a senior, and he leads the team in runs batted in with 34. The Boston native is enjoying his first year with Houston after 1 year at Arkansas and 2 years at San Jacinto College. On the pitching side, we have righty Jackson Jelkin. Jelkin leads the Houston pitching staff with 46 strikeouts. The junior from Omaha played 2 seasons at South Mountain Community College before getting drafted by the Dodgers last July but electing to come to Houston. Finally, we have Canadian southpaw Antoine Jean. Jean had played 4 seasons at Alabama before transferring to Houston. The Montreal native is just behind Jelkin with 45 strikeouts. It remains to be seen whether the Cougars can turn their season around, but it's clear that these standouts have what it takes to help finish with a winning season. For the Varsity Sports Show, I'm Jason Goldie.
Good morning, Houston. This is Koby Braunstein from Arizona State University, reporting for the Varsity Sports Show. Spring football is kicking into gear, and many of the private school scene's top talents in the Houston area are nationally recognized prospects. Let's put a spotlight on some names from a particular school that had a phenomenal season. St. Thomas quarterback Dante Lewis had an electric senior campaign and was a first-team all-Vype private school selection. The senior threw for 2,639 yards, tossing 30 touchdowns to just 3 interceptions. If you tack on 882 rushing yards and 12 more scores, you could say Lewis really did it all. Lewis is taking his talents to Kansas State next year, but on the diamond instead of the gridiron. His football arm strength translates on the mound, with a fastball that peaks at 94 miles per hour. Lewis's teammate Johan Cardenas was a workhorse with a relentless motor for the Eagles, earning an all-Vype first-team nod. Cardenas bulldozed his way to 2,268 yards and 33 touchdowns. His magical senior campaign was highlighted by a 459-yard, 7-touchdown performance in the semifinals in what was a wild 73-62 win. Cardenas flipped his commitment from Texas Tech to Vanderbilt, where he'll play amongst the elite in the SEC. St. Thomas had players selected to the all-Vype first team at every skill position except for defensive back. Lewis and Cardenas were major catalysts and certainly left their mark on the Eagles program. I'm Koby Braunstein from Arizona State University, and you're listening to ESPN Radio 975 and 925.
Time for Vitz's final word.
Well, we've come to the end of another fun show. Thanks again for tuning in on a beautiful Sunday morning here in Houston. I'd like to take a moment to thank our incredible team for all the hard work they put in this week to produce such a fine broadcast. Seth Kordich out of the University of Nevada, Las Vegas, on his report on Texas A&M track and field. Koby Braunstein from Arizona State University talking a little spring high school football in the private schools. Our very own Alissa Firestone from Arizona State talking a little Houston events in honor of Earth Day. Bradley Clark from Texas Southern University in speaking on some Houston Community College sports. And Bradley, Also, thank you very much for allowing us to feature you as part of our Intern Spotlight. Much success and good luck as you prepare for graduation from Texas Southern. Chris Severan, also from Texas Southern, with a little public schools sports report on baseball in the area. Jason Goldie from Arizona State, University of Houston baseball summary. Sammy Khalaf, also from Arizona State, little college spring football report from the Houston Cougars. Big thank you to Vype Media's Matt Malatesta for joining us this week and spending some time and really breaking down softball. And of course, we'd be remiss if we did not send out a special thank you to Pearland Oilers baseball coach David Rogers for joining us this morning, providing a little insight on his program and talking his winning formula. Thanks again, Coach Rogers. And to you, our listeners and our audience, thanks so much for joining us here on the Varsity Sports Show. If you have any ideas for future content, please send us an email, info@Varsity Sports Show. Check us out on all of our social media platforms. Twitter @Varsity Show, Instagram and Facebook, Varsity Sports Show, and TikTok. Please, ladies and gentlemen, come back next week, and the week after, and the week after, and the week after that. Once again, my name is Vince DeLisio. Thanks for tuning in to the Varsity Sports Show on ESPN 97.5, 92.5 Houston. Have a great Sunday, everyone. Go Varsity.
ESPN 97.5 and ESPN 92.5.
Warrior sound!
Real, fun, sports.